rally over in stocks, and has the bull market in gold just begun? Hello, Market Club members everywhere. Adam Hewison here, co-founder of Market Club, with your market update for Thursday, the 23rd of August. So, the question on everyone's minds right now is the stealth rally over for stocks? You may want to take a look at our Tuesday comments, as we warned that Tuesdays tend to be reversal days. That, coupled with a recent poll we did asking our Market Club members what was going to close, if the stocks were going to close lower or higher for the week, the results were remarkably close, almost 50-50 split. So there's an equal number of people who are bullish, and there's an equal number of people who are bearish on this market. Overall, the equity markets are all lower for the week, should be closed at current levels or lower on Friday. It will mark the first time in 6 weeks that we've seen profit taking coming into the market on a little more volume on the downside. Volume, for the most part, in the stealth rally has been almost non-existent, which sometimes is a clue stocks are moving higher with little or no fresh buying. As we answered last night on our Market Club TV show, we expect the S&P 500 to come back to the S&P midpoint of its Donchian trade channel. That would bring it to the 1390 to 1380 level. Let's see how this market closes out the week tomorrow. Now let's go to our trade triangles, but first, it's official. All of our trade triangles are positive on gold today. In fact, let's start with gold, because that's, to me, is a bigger market. Right now, that's the news setting market. We're up $9. Currently trading at 1672, up 0.5%, plus 100, so we know it's a bull market. It's the only bull market we have right now officially. You can see there's the trade triangle kicked in. What's really nice about this market, and this is what I see, we've talked about this before, is that you have this really nice big base this market's come from. Now, we may see a little bit of stuttering right around this level, right around the 1680 level. But nonetheless, I think if you do, I think it's a chance to get long. And certainly if you can buy it lower than the 1670.93 level, it would be a buy in our opinion. This market has built a base. It's capable of going much, much higher in our opinion. And let me just clear the screen, and let me just go to a little further view of this market, because I really want to share with you the bigger picture as we see it. So let's go a couple of years, and you can see. Let's clear the screen off. Take this off here, and let's just do a simple line chart. And if we can draw a trend line from the highs here to here, we're kind of right there now. So I'd like to see us, obviously, as I say, what we may do is back and fill from current levels, and then this is a close-only chart because we haven't closed yet, so we can see it back and fill at current levels and then move over this chart. It'd be perfect. I mean, that would be like a picture-perfect technical picture. But nonetheless, you cannot ignore the trade triangles. They're 100% on gold. I think it's time. Inflation is going to kick in, whether we want to admit that or not, but that's what's going to happen. And we're going to see this market go higher. Potentially, where can we go? Well, if you may remember, a couple of years ago, people were talking about $2,000 gold. It would appear that this market has had this big correction, and it could see this market go well over 2,000, I think, on this current trip. And let's see how that plays out. But nonetheless, it's a very, very good sign that we're going higher right now. So let's go back to our portfolio, and let's start with the stocks, the S&P 500, and let's just close this up a little bit so we get closer in. And one thing is interesting, if you look at the gold market, which we just looked at, you had a double top there, and this potentially is a double top in the equity markets. And if I get my illustrator on here, I'll show you what I mean. I think potentially this is the double top right here and here. Now, we do have our monthly and our weekly still positive, so the trend is still up. I'm saying it's still early yet. Whether this is going to be proven to be a double top, I don't know. But if we see the weekly go red, if this turns red, then I would say I would be out of intermediate traders want to be out of this market. And this would be the pivot point right here. So if we go from here, let's say this level here, let's call it 1290 just for argument's sake. And let's call this 14,000 just for argument's sake, even though it's a little bit higher. So I think you could take 110 points away from this, which do the math very quickly, gives you 1180, which takes you right down here to this area here. Is it possible? I don't know. We'll have to see what happens, but nonetheless, you're getting the first clues that this market may be hesitating. It didn't. The Dow did not make a new high, as you well know. NASDAQ did make a recent high, but nonetheless, we'll be looking at this market in just a moment, but nonetheless, it's cause for concern. I mean, we're not out of the woods yet in this whole thing, and if we scope this out just a little bit further, I think we can probably draw a trend line from the lows that we've seen here. You have to click on here, then the little yellow box comes, and then you know it's live. So we click on here and go up, and that's going to be support in my mind. I think we'll see this thing. But again, you can see this market sort of itching to come back down. We are oversold. It's not to say we can't go anyhow, but you see how low the volume was in August, just pushing this market up on really no volume whatsoever, which I always thought was a little bit suspect anyway. So again, let's see how this market plays out. If we get closer in and we'll put our tools back on, you can see we're currently trading just a little bit over the 14,000 level, 1400 level rather. And let's just put our tools back on here, which we talked about. The Donchian trading channels and the, we want the parabolic, which is right here. So there are the two. As we mentioned, we thought the market would come down to this midpoint of the Donchian trade channel, much like it did here, and here, and here, and here. So let's see how that plays out. So that would take it back down to the 1390, 1380 level. We're very oversold, you can see that. So let's see what happens on that market. Looking at the euro has been surprisingly strong. I don't think anybody predicted it. We were sort of surprised. I think part of the reason was more short covering people who have sold the euro, and there was no real news to push it down, so there's some short covering that came up. But you can see that the parabolics picked this up. Parabolics picked this up on the August 17th. It was sort of going higher. I didn't think we'd see it move much out of the Donchian trade channel. We sort of gone a little bit further than I expected. But I think this level here, the 26 to 2750 level, so just to put that visually on here, I would say probably this level here to 2750 is going to be resistance. We'll see what happens. Our longer term is still negative from 139. Only the weekly and the daily are positive. So let's see how that plays out. Nonetheless, I can't get enthusiastic about this because our best indicator on the euro has always been and will always be probably the monthly. So let's see how that monthly trade triangle works. So scoping this out just a little bit further and going to our next market. That's crude oil. Crude oil exactly hit our, let me see, I got this, exactly hit our 98 level, which is the Fibonacci level. Remember, we talked about that yesterday. Hit it perfectly today, no follow through. I would say we're going to see the crude oil come back down to the 92 level, which is the midpoint of the Donchian trade channel. Again, you've got the PSAR that came in today at 95.83. We're at 96.82, another buck high, but you can see we were quite a bit higher than that. We traded as high as 98.29 today. Again, the Fibonacci numbers, if we scope this out, we'll put that in for you. I think we measured this last night on the show, but I'll do it again. I think we took it from this level. So the Fibonacci tool, click here. The yellow box comes in here, and then you just scope this down. So we measured it from the highs. It was right here. So you can see 97, 96, 98 was rounded off to 98. That's close enough for what we want. I think that's going to be enough to halt this market. And you can see the momentum hasn't followed this move up. So I think we'll see more selling coming into this market as we progress in the next couple of days. I think some of these markets, the commodity markets, have had this little run, are going to consolidate and regroup before they probably move higher. So let's see what happens there. Next market's the Dow. We talked about the Dow last night. You can see that's not doing well. It had a PSR signal yesterday. We talked about that in the show. and we had a big follow through today. In fact, the Dow is down about 100 points right now, and it's down just over about 0.80%. But again, this is heading for the midpoint of the Donchian trade channel. Whether it finds support there, we'll have to see. But nonetheless, it's very, very oversold in a very brief period of time. It's given back probably a lot of the gains it sort of picked up in the stealth rally. And I know when we looked at the Dow 30, I think half of them were really moving sideways. So it really wasn't a strong overall trend that we did see. So let's go to our next market. And that's gold. Of course, there's the monthly gold. Again, we talked about that earlier in the show, but that's a good signal, like that coming from a base. I mean, it's just beautiful to see that happen. And here's the NASDAQ. Now, the NASDAQ did give you the monthly signal. If you remember, the Dow didn't do it. The only one that didn't do it. So that was just a couple of days ago. We've moved below the PSAR. And Apple's the big story here. If they took Apple out of this index, we'd be a lot lower. So you've got one stock that's really holding up this index, in our opinion. So we'll see how that works out. Apple has a big lawsuit right now against Samsung and about 4 other people. So I think Google and Motorola and you name it, they're suing everybody. So we'll see if they're successful. Copper is kind of popped out above the channel here on the Donchian trading channel. I think it's going to come back in. There's strong resistance right here at the 355 level. If you just look here, very strong resistance, and I think this little pop out is going to, we'll see the market pop back into this fold and probably come back down to test the 340 level again. So let's see how that plays out. But nonetheless, you can see we made new highs right here, and we have not followed through in the momentum, something to be very concerned about. And let's just close that up, and let's just clear the screen and go down here a little bit. So yeah, big volume today, but really no super follow through. I'd be a little bit suspicious of this move. So let's go to our next market. And this is going to be silver. Silver has put in a surprisingly good performance, I have to say. It's sort of surprised us. But again, it hasn't moved as well as gold. And look at the monthly is still negative. Gold is green. Everything's green. Everything's positive. So in here, we're saying, even though it's had this move, we're saying it's still in a broad trading range. And the reason we say that is, let me just share that with you. Because if you go back here, I'm just drawing this that's the trading range we're in now. So it's towards the high end of the range. I'd love to see this market regroup here a little bit and then go higher. I think that would be like a perfect signal. But nonetheless, this is a very, very large energy field here. This is capable of carrying silver quite a bit higher than we are right now. Now remember, people were talking about $50 silver. It never did happen. If we scope this out further, you'll get an idea of where silver has been in the last couple of years. And we got up to, close to 50. We didn't kind of get the cigar there. 49.68, I think, was the highest we've seen. 49.7, yeah, 49, somewhere like that. Really not, 49.17 looks like the high. Didn't quite get there, but again, the one thing I want to share with you, and this is one of the reasons I think silver's gone up so high. So let's just clear everything off the screen and take a look at that long-term trend line we talked about in our report. So let me just close that off, close that up, and let's just do a simple line chart. And let's get our trend line indicator there, and we'll scope this in. So there you have it. So it's pretty much, if we scope this in a little closer, let's say 6 months, it's pretty much right on that line. So this could be another pullback from these levels and then a move through the line. I think that would be a really very powerful indicator to see this market's going higher. But nonetheless, I'm more bullish on gold than I am on silver. So let's go to our next market. And this is the Reuters Jefferies CRB index. We talked about this before. There's the monthly. All of our indicators are positive. You've got a very strong grain market, not so much today, but for the month. And you can see that we had the signal. And I think, again, there you're looking at a situation where if we draw a trend line from the highs, let's put that right, these highs right here, just take this down here. And you can see we just sort of moved over that trend line, And I think that's an important one. We'll scope that in just a bit closer so you can see. So you can see we just sort of moved over that trend line, so it's a good close. I think inflation is on its way. I could see us regrouping here above 305, 304, somewhere like that, and then going higher. So lots going on. Listen, this is maybe a perfect time for you to try our one-on-one Market Club coaching, see if it's right for you. I don't know whether you've called us yet or not, but it's a free call and it's a free consultation. So give us a call, 877-219-1482. We'd love to talk to you about our coaching and how it can help you become a better trader. I'm Adam Hewison. Let's pay close attention tomorrow. It's Friday. We could see some big reversals here, and I don't want you to miss them. So I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a great trading day.